okay, I've been gone for quite a long time, and many reasons for that, right? Life chucks a lot of things at us sometimes, and I had life chuck fucking everything at me all at once, which was just cool, right? So it meant I had to just take a step back from things for a while. I was taking on too much, and you know, I lost my father as well, and my granddad, and ended a 9-year relationship, so there was a whole lot of shit going on all at once. Work was good for a minute, and then it certainly wasn't. A company went into liquidation, amazing. So everything that life could have chucked at me, it just did it all at once. So that is my reason for the absence, dear viewers. Appreciate the internet hasn't exactly missed me, but it might be fun for me to get back into some of this stuff, who knows. Maybe some of you guys appreciate it, and girls. So here we are, reviewers, back in the game. The car's changed, right? Since the last time we kind of started this with the channel, the car has changed a lot. So it's running approximately 460, 480 horsepower now. I did indeed go with MHD. So it's running a proper stage 2. We've got a full catless. We've got a catback, Remus exhaust now, BMS intake on there, XHP stage 3, and I got IBAC springs fitted after a bit of a nightmare of H&Rs. Probably they were just the wrong part, but the car was so low, like crazy low, it couldn't get over anything, and I've still got to do school runs and things with this car, so it just wasn't working. So we went to Motec again, and then ultimately got the IBAC springs fitted, which, you know, they're not extreme tuner, they're more like OEM plus, I think is the best way to describe it. But they still have made the car sit lower, which is great, gives it a better look. The handling is much improved, you get less body roll now. That's something I'm going to be pushing more for probably in the next few items in terms of build for the car. It's all going to be about stance, getting it right, getting anti-roll where I want it to be, and then once I've done all of that stuff, I'll probably be getting a new set of wheels and tyres for the car. But yeah, I mean, I have to say, I absolutely love the way the car drives now. It's kind of what I wanted. You know, even 400 is good for a daily driver. This is easily 460, 480, and yeah, she absolutely shifts now. So 3.8 seconds to 60. I haven't even done one of those draggies for a long time, since it's had the catback exhaust especially. So I have to kind of see really, but the car is really where I wanted it to be. Absolutely love it. It's a jack of all trades in my mind. It could be family plodder and get around and job doer for, you know, 99% of the time, but when I want it to be vicious, put everything in its kind of sportiest mode. And this car flies, right? I mean, 3.8 to 60 for a big car is quick, right? It's still quick. It's not super quick by today's standards, I get that, but for most people it is a fast car. And bearing in mind we've got X-Drive to hook up the power, this car really puts it down. It just needed that awakening in terms of the internals and the engines and removing restrictions, right? Things that really help the engine to breathe better. And I'm pleased to say she breathes much better now. I don't know if you're going to get much of this, I'll try. Don't know how it's going to affect the audio. But yeah, second gear. Don't know how much of that would have come through. She sounds fantastic now. You get a lovely bit of induction whistle from the intake and the turbo. You really hear them now, and beautiful exhaust. Now the great thing about what we did, and it was somewhat accidentally, should we say, Remus for whatever reason didn't send through the correct mid pipe, so we were and had ordered a full system. We were going for that. It was only when I was at Motec waiting for things to be done that we realised that what they'd sent through wasn't the correct part. So the midsection is still OEM BMW, which means I believe we've got one sound dampening unit, if you like, in there still. I forget the name now, but you know what I mean. However, with that still being in there, resonator, there you go, the rear resonator, but with that still being in there, you don't get any drone. any drone at all. So we've still got the resonator on the intake at the front there, and you still get a ton of turbo whine and boosting sounds, and it sounds fantastic, but we don't get any drone at all, and that is the best thing about this car. When I put my foot down, when I want to hear the exhaust, I really hear it now. If I want to hear the engine, I hear it now. You don't get any of that boringness with it. That would be really annoying, right? So even if we go through the gears now, bring it down to lower RPM, 4th gear, let's get a nice subtle bit in the background, but as we go through the rev range, the pitch changes, it sounds great. Yeah. So I'm really happy with where the car is at the moment. Next steps, like I say, a little bit of handling stuff, and then once I've got everything just right, going to get the new tyres on there, new wheels, proper summer setup, and then the final bit is a little bit of aesthetics to the outside. You will have noticed I got that rear wing on there, the ducktail. It's not as hideous as it might look from the video. I actually love it. It's probably Marmite though, right? I get that, I get it. You know, tell me what you think in the comment section. It might be the worst thing ever. I like it though, right? So the theme is basically solid black, or gloss black type finish for the car, for the bodywork, and then the grey. So it'll be a bit divisive between the two. I think it's great. I think it looks great. But once we get the splitter on there, rear diffuser, those are things that are coming next. I think the car is going to be absolutely set up for success, and it's going to be really, really cool. So anyway, that's it. Just a quick kind of recap. I haven't made a video in ages. I hope everybody has been well. I hope the world has been treating everybody well. Rough times out there, right? Rough times out there. It does seem that since the thing that we don't speak of in 2019, 2020, since then the world has gone absolutely batshit crazy. Do you not think? Everything's gone crazy. Everything is super polarized these days. You're left, you're right, you're kind of, there's no in between. And finance is putting a lot of pressure on people as well. Something I've never really spoken about on the channel is that I'm massively into finance. I'm massively into crypto, specifically Bitcoin, just to kind of get that one there at the beginning. Specifically Bitcoin. It has been some very interesting times for the market. The bottom of the bear last cycle, we hit 15.5, 16. Most people that were super lucky to catch it there, well done, because only a month ago Bitcoin was at $109,000. Quite the increase, it's literally a 5x. So massively impressive. Since then, Trump's got in, and we've got some ups and downs, tons of volatility in the market. Does it mean that this bull run is over? I happen to think no. I happen to think this is a mid-cycle correction, brutal as it might have been, especially for altcoins. Do I think this run is over? No, I don't. I think probably within the next couple of weeks, we're going to see a huge turnaround. Most indicators, if you're into charting, most indicators are at the absolute bottom. Fear and greed index, for example, in extreme fear, and Bitcoin is currently around $88,000 at the moment, and it's in extreme fear. The last notable time that it was in proper extreme fear was FTX crash, bottom of the 2022 bear market. Are we in a bear market, guys? I don't think so. We're in a mid-cycle correction, sure. I happen to think we've got 6 to 12 months of positive price action to come yet. I think we'll top out around the summertime, and if we don't do that, it may be extended by the recent activity towards the end of the year, maybe even into early 2026. Time will tell. Nobody knows what is going to happen with the market, absolutely nobody. And if anybody says otherwise, well, they're completely wrong. The market can catch people out when you least expect it. You can be absolutely sure on something, only to later on find that you listened to someone's advice, it wasn't right, etc, etc. This is why you should lead with Bitcoin if you're into investing. This is literally why. I was having a chat with a couple of people in a Tag Heuer store actually, I don't know, a week ago, and Bitcoin was trading at around 93, where it kind of leveled out for a while, hadn't it? And I said that there's volatility to come, and gosh darn it, maybe 24 hours later, yeah, there was a sudden drop. Bitcoin hit 78,000, and if you were lucky enough to buy it at 78 on that dip, which is the equivalent of 1 Bitcoin, you could have bought, you know, percentages of it, sure, but let's say you bought one, 48 hours maximum later, it was at 95,000. So an easy 20% bosh, just like that. These shakeouts, this manipulation, it is literally there to rattle people, to get them out of their positions, especially anybody using leverage. Get them out of it, shake them out, and then only once all of the leverage has been shaken out of the system will we move up, and we will move up. There are some wild predictions for this cycle's top, and nobody knows where it's going to be. We can all take an educated guess about where we think it's going to be. On the pessimistic side of things, I would say between 140 and 160. That's in dollars, so $160,000 could be the peak, you know, the absolute pico top. Many calls for 200, 250. You know, still quite a lot of calls for 500 and above, and there's a few saying Bitcoin's going to go to $1 million. I think it will go to $1 million. I don't think it's going to go to $1 million this cycle. I think so many people are butthurt and have been trapped by recent activity that, unfortunately, the minute that we do get a big run in Bitcoin, especially some altcoins, people are going to be taking profits and just getting out, basically. I think they're going to exit. So I think personally we will see the likes of 140, 160,000. At that point, that is when I personally am going to start averaging out. I'm going to start selling little bits here or there, you know, 20%, 20%, 20%, that kind of thing, over the space of maybe 2-3 weeks. See what happens. If there is a sudden resurgence, then I can let what's in there ride. If the market's become unsettled, it looks like it's going lower, I'll just continue to sell, just get out. So yeah, really interesting times. But we do have a lot to look forward to this year. You know, we're about to start globally, I would say, the season of quantitative easing. So effectively money printing, taking on more debt, being more lenient with finances. The EU yesterday just did another 0.25% rate cut, okay, and it might be their last easy one that they say, but that is bullish in itself. Last night, America, Trump announced Bitcoin strategic reserve. So countries are buying Bitcoin, or will be buying Bitcoin, much like they bought gold in the past, because gold was part of their strategic reserve, and currencies used to be backed by gold, which they're not anymore because we're on a fiat standard, okay? That all might change in the future if countries are now seeing Bitcoin as a potential for a reserve currency. It certainly has potential enough that they're using it for backup financial reserve currencies. What's to say that they don't back the dollar again, but buy Bitcoin this time? So the world would then shift onto a Bitcoin standard. Well, that's actually pretty fucking interesting, isn't it? Could you imagine if that actually happens? The hardest currency in the world becomes part of world reserve currency, or eventually we move to a full-on Bitcoin standard, and Bitcoin is money. That is what you pay for everything in. At that point, the price of Bitcoin would be in the millions, probably tens of millions for one Bitcoin. So the risk to reward at this point in time is still very, very good. And you know, on X and things, I made a post the other day actually that we were as close to the 2021-2022 cycle top, which was 69,400, as we were to this cycle's current top, should we say, at 109. And that's mad, right? So we were kind of like right in the middle. But tonight we've got the crypto conference that the White House is holding in America. You know, that is actually today, that's going to happen. So could be very, very interesting times. We'll just have to see. But if you're in those kind of markets at the moment, if you're holding Bitcoin specifically, I would say just just hold, just have some patience, just hold. Altcoins have died a death over the last few months. It's been disgusting. But again, unless you're absolutely desperate to sell right now, I'd probably just hold your bags really. Hold on to them, DCA the ones that genuinely have conviction. Meme coins have been absolutely slaughtered to the point where most are down 90% or more. Again, it's an opportunity to average down your bags, you know, buy more and bring your entry lower. But I wouldn't be betting the farm on those at the moment. We are going to get an altcoin season though, and it is going to rip and it will melt faces again. Just got to have patience. Okay, so this person's let me go. So right, it's a good time for me to sign off, guys. So thanks very much for watching. I'm going to try and get some more videos put together in the coming weeks and months, just letting some people go. But thanks very much for watching. Stay safe, have fun, and I'll see you on the next one.